Lions TV, good afternoon. It finishes at the Den. I think you can just see it in the background there. You can, yeah. Millwall under-21s 3, Barnsley under-21s 3. Once again, oh my God, what a game with half the first team playing. And if it weren't for the Barnsley keeper, we could have hit double figures there. Mind you, if it wasn't for our keeper, we probably would have won the game 3-1, maybe 3-2. Mad afternoon. I wanted to do the video either, in the ground or just there like I usually do, but it is absolutely Baltic here this afternoon. The sun was out in the first half. People were in their T-shirts. And then by full time, it's almost like sleet. It is absolutely freezing. A little bit like the game, very topsy-turvy and up and down. Let's start with the starting 11. Lots of surprise inclusions. It was, I'm going to try and go off memory, Connell, Truman in goal. Back four was Myers, left back. Walker, right back, Coley and Stevenson, the centre-backs. Two central midfielders were Romain, SA and Shamar Lawson, with Alamo Amaku on one wing, Adam Mayer on the other, and then the two strikers were Kevin Nisbet and Tom Bradshaw. Lots of questions being asked when I posted the team sheet on social media. First one quickly, people were saying, how come that Bradshaw and Nisbet can play in the under-21s? Well, you can field up to 3 outfield players and 1 goalkeeper that are above the age of 21. It helps integrate first teamers back into fitness and youth teamers gaining experience from first teamers that are trying to step up to that next level. So that's the answer to that one. Why did they all play? It's a good question. And I don't want to shit on my preview, which will be out tomorrow for members and Thursday public for the Plymouth game. Let's just quickly put my phone on silent. Sorry about that. Yeah, I think that, in my opinion, and I could be completely wrong, that it makes sense, now we're safe, to play Mayer, to play SA, to try the Nisbet-Bradshaw combination up front in the first team for the last 2 games. Because, look, we've got 5 loanees, Tanganga, Obafemi, Longman, Alan Campbell, the forgotten man at the club, and Brooke Norton-Cuffy. They're all going back, right? They're not going to be Millwall players next season. We ain't got a big budget. So I know I've drifted a little bit away from this game. But for me, you've got SA, Mayer. They're both young Millwall players, contracted full-time players. And you've also got Nisbet and Bradshaw, the same, maybe not young, but both contracted Millwall players. And as we know, Harris likes to play 2 up front. So as far as I'm concerned, it will make complete sense to play those players on Saturday and get a little insight the gaffer can for next season. A lot of those players haven't played a lot of game time. A couple of them due to injury, a couple of them to, Neil Harris trying to keep us in the division with more experience than maybe some of those players have got. But look, let's get into the game. Crazy game. It started. Barnsley looked quite strong, I thought, despite our team sheet. I don't really know their players, so I don't know who's playing for them. But, yeah, despite our team sheet, I thought they looked like a strong, confident side that knocked the ball around, were very busy, very lively. And they actually had a couple of better chances before we opened the scoring. It was a free kick just outside the area, a little bit further up. Truman hits a long diag, and it's flicked on by Alamo Amaku. Kevin Nisbet plucks it down out of the sky, I think off his thigh. One touch into the area, and he looks up and he just passes it. Calm as you like into the back of the net. Really good finish from Nisbet. However, I'm going to say, and I'm not one to talk for being lazy, the geezer doesn't move. He does not move. I don't know whether his old injury is still niggling him. I don't know. Or whether he's being careful of it, he's mindful of it. But brilliant finish, great goal from him. Cool as a cucumber, but he doesn't move. Bradshaw was doing all his running everywhere. And at half-time, Leahy actually replaced Nisbet, and I probably thought that Tom Lee was man of the match, if I'm honest. He looks miles sharper, more busy, more running inside him, and a better all-round player. Sometimes you think some of these players might not be able to step up to first team, but today we've seen some of our first team step down and play at this level. And for me, Leahy looks a lot stronger. Yes, Nisbet come back from injury, might not be fully firing. Bradshaw won't mind me saying, he probably won't watch the video, but he missed a couple of sitters in the first half. He wasn't at full strength, and that's why the first teamers use it for what they use it for. Look, so we're 1-0 up, and after that, Barnsley just scored 3 goals out of nowhere. First one's down to the goalkeeper, absolutely 100%. And the goalkeeper situation is scaring the shit out of me because Bart's going to be leaving at the end of the season. I don't fully trust Sarkic and Connell, Truman. Well, it's the Truman show, honestly. Shot from distance, it's not a bad effort. He dives to his left and he saves it. Now, firstly, he should hold it. If you're not going to hold it, you've got to pat it away with, you know, with your wrist behind it and get some strength and distance to the side. But he just pats it right down into an area, goes down, their striker follows in. What I've seen next is one of the greatest saves I've ever seen in my life, because their guy goes to tap it in from, or smash it in from 3 yards. Somehow, Connell Truman gets up off the floor, dives full length, backwards and sideways, and the shot that's hit from 3 yards comes off his wrist and up in the air again. But then the same guy's there again and just taps it in, and it's 1-1. After that, you know, it sort of died down a bit as a game. But then all of a sudden they scored 2 goals out of nowhere. Corner comes in, they're shooting at the cold blow lane in the first half, and our defender goes to head it away. 50p head, it just goes in the wrong direction, back across the 6-yard box. And then one of their players sort of dollies an header up, and it drops down and hits the top. It doesn't hit the bar, it sort of drops onto the top of the bar. Now, again, I'm not blaming the goalkeeper here. There was a lot of bodies in the way, and maybe he couldn't get across to where he needed to get to due to the amount of bodies in the way. But he had a lot of time in the air, and it's dropped in the middle of the goal and dollied onto the top of the bar. And I would have thought he may have come through and just, you know, patted it over the bar. But he didn't. As it's dropped, a few players went up, didn't get nothing on it, and then a Barnsley player just heads it in. That's 2-1. And then very shortly after that, a little diag from the wing across the face of the 6-yard box. Their player meets it at the far post, heads it back across goal, and it was trickling at a snail's pace. Truman was chasing it more like the Benny Hill show than the Truman show, and he just didn't get there. It might have been the angle I was at, but he just fucking didn't get there. And we're 3-1 down. We come back into it then a little bit. Their goalkeeper's made a couple of good saves in the first half. This one from SA was really good. There was a point where Mayers teed up Bradshaw. No, Mayer teed up Nisbet, who then played it to Bradshaw. Bradshaw should have scored. Their goalkeeper did save it, but Bradders was point blank and should have done better, and he'll know that. And then Mayer does well again in the first half. He cuts inside. He lays off SA. We was right behind this one. SA curls it into the far corner. Their goalkeeper gets across. Brilliant save. And we go at half-time, 3-1 down. Second half, there was 2 substitutions. Forgive me, I can't forget one of them, but the other was Kevin Nisbet off and Tom Leahy on. So that question mark again for me over Nisbet's fitness, or was the plan for him always to play 45 minutes? We don't know. But what happens next is we just absolutely take over the game, and we have shot after shot after shot. Leahy was brilliant, and he's involved in the goal. Amaku has got one thing in his mind when he gets the ball, and that is just to get into the opposition area and either A, have a shot, or B, square it for someone else to have a shot. He is so raw and powerful, and he done well in that second half, caused havoc down that right-hand side. George Walker playing at right back was really good as well, but what I noticed today was they stuck us in the kitchen, the lower, and not the upper. So I sat right in the front row, busy bollocks, because I wanted to hear what the players were saying to each other and stuff. George Walker is an animal. He was so fired up for this game. He was talking to everyone, and I know he has captained this side before, but I was really impressed with him vocally. I know it might sound stupid, but he was geeing people up. He was dictating to people. He was telling people where they needed to be. And he's a good young player, an exciting prospect for us right back. Eventually, we get the goal. Walker's involved. So too is Amaku, who fires it across the box. Leahy on the turn. He shot, fires towards goal. It probably would have gone in. It hits the defender, drops at the feet of Tom Bradshaw. And Bradshaw does what he does. Feed the Bradshaw. He will score. He sticks in the back of the net. Hint of offside about that one, but it was given. Romain Nesse then hits the bar. He started to pull the strings in the centre of midfield more in the second half, next to Shamal Lawson. And then we get the equaliser. By this point, Abdul Malik had come on for Tom Bradshaw, and it's a fucking brilliant goal between Abdul Malik and Tom Leahy. Abdul Malik powers through the middle of the pitch at pace. Defenders coming towards him, and Leahy reads it brilliantly. He runs off the other shoulder on the blind side of the defender. Abdul Malik picks the perfect pass, and Leahy, as the keeper comes out, just shows brilliant composure and lifts it over him. And that's 3-3. And after that, I've just put one clip on Instagram. I'm tempted to put more. It was like the Alamo. Their goalkeeper was a big old lump. It'd be interesting finding out who he was, because he was a good goalkeeper. Tall, had a presence, didn't flap, was like strong in the air, commanding his area, and some brilliant saves. He made point-blank saves from Abdul Malik. He made one from Amaku. Made a couple from Leahy, Bradshaw when he was on. It could have been, I'm not even being dramatic, it could have been 8, 9, 10-3 in that second half, but it wasn't to be. It did finish 3-3, really impressed with Leahy, really impressed with him. Abdul Malik done well when he come on, although, again, maybe cheeky from me, you don't look the fittest, Abdul. I was watching you at your half-time in your fitness running, you didn't seem that interested. I think you got a couple of bollockings off the trainer, but look, it ends again 3-3 in SE16. One of the last chances we're going to get down here this season, but it was a really, really enjoyable afternoon, and it finishes, I think I've mentioned it 3 or 4 times, it finishes 3-3. Please subscribe to Lions TV. Come on, you Lions.